A loan was taken out in my name, by my own sister. I always thought my sister and I were close. We grew up in the same tiny bedroom, whispering secrets to each other under the covers long past bedtime. She was my first best friend, my built-in companion through childhood. Sure, we were different. Megan was always the wild one, the one who got into trouble and charmed her way out of it, while I was the responsible one who played it safe. But at the end of the day, we had each other. Or so I thought. It all started with a phone call. A normal Wednesday evening. I had just come home from work, kicked off my shoes, and was scrolling mindlessly on my phone when it rang. An unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it, but something made me pick up. Hello, is this Ms. Carter? Yes, who's calling? This is David from Crestwood Financial. We're calling regarding your overdue payments on a personal loan taken out 6 months ago. My heart stuttered. I think you have the wrong person. I don't have any loans. A brief pause. Ma'am, we have your full name, social security number, and signature on file. The loan amount is $15,000. If there's an issue, we suggest filing a fraud claim immediately. My stomach twisted. Can you send me the details? My voice sounded calm, but my hands were suddenly cold. 5 minutes later, I was staring at an email from Crestwood Financial. My name was there. My social security number. A contract with a signature that looked eerily close to mine, but wasn't. And then I saw it. The linked bank account where the money had been deposited. Megan's name was right there. At first, my brain refused to process it. There had to be some mistake. Maybe someone else had hacked her account. Maybe this was a misunderstanding. Maybe. But deep down I knew. My own sister had stolen my identity. I always thought my sister and I were close. We grew up sharing clothes, secrets, and inside jokes. She was the reckless one, the wild child who made bad decisions but always found a way to land on her feet. I was the responsible one, the one who planned everything out and made sure things stayed on track. We were different, but we were family. And I never imagined she would betray me like this. It all started with a phone call. It was a normal weekday evening. I was in the middle of cooking dinner when my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I almost ignored it, assuming it was a telemarketer, but something made me pick up. Hello, is this Ms. Carter? Yes, who's calling? This is David from Crestwood Financial. We're calling regarding your overdue payments on a personal loan taken out 6 months ago. My stomach immediately dropped. I think you have the wrong person. I don't have any loans. There was a pause, then a shuffling of papers. Ma'am, we have your full name, social security number, and signature on file. The loan amount is $15,000. If this is a mistake, we suggest filing a fraud claim immediately. My hands were suddenly ice cold. Can you send me the details? I barely got the words out. 5 minutes later, I was staring at an email with a full breakdown of the loan. My name was on it, my personal information, but the signature wasn't mine. It was close, but I knew my own handwriting. And then I saw the linked bank account where the money had been deposited. It was Megan's. Denial is a funny thing. Even when the evidence was right in front of me, her name, her bank account, her betrayal, I still wanted to believe there was another explanation. Maybe Megan had been scammed. Maybe someone had used her account without her knowing. Maybe, just maybe, she had a perfectly logical reason for all of this. But the nagging voice in the back of my mind told me otherwise. And when I tried to call her, and she didn't pick up, that voice got louder. I sent her a text. Megan, call me. Now. Nothing. I waited 5 minutes. Then 10. Then 20. I stared at my phone like I could will it to ring, like she would see my name and feel the weight of what she'd done, and somehow magically she'd make this right. She didn't. By the time an hour had passed, my hands were shaking with adrenaline. Fine. If she wasn't going to come to me, I would go to her. Megan lived across town in a tiny one-bedroom apartment, the kind she was always behind on rent for. When I pulled up outside, I saw her car in the driveway, which meant she was home. Good. I knocked on the door. No answer. I knocked again, harder this time. Nothing. Oh, hell no. Megan. I know you're in there. Open the damn door. My voice came out sharper than I expected, my anger bubbling over. A few seconds later, I heard movement inside, and finally, the door creaked open. Megan stood there, barefoot, in an oversized sweatshirt, her hair a mess. She blinked at me like I had just woken her up from a nap. Jesus, what's your problem? She muttered. My problem. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. Are you seriously asking me that? I shoved my phone in her face, the email from Crestwood Financial still open. You want to explain this? Her eyes flicked to the screen, then back to me. And then, she smirked. Oh, that. Like she had borrowed a dress without asking. Like this was some minor inconvenience, not a full-blown financial crime. Megan, you took out a loan in my name. Are you kidding me? She sighed dramatically, like I was overreacting. Relax. I was gonna pay it back. I just needed some help, and you're always bragging about your good credit. It's not like you even use it. I actually had to step back because I thought I might hit her. Are you hearing yourself right now? That's not how this works. Do you even understand what you've done? This is fraud. I could go to jail for this. She rolled her eyes. No one's going to jail. You can just say you didn't know, file some report, and it'll go away. Seriously, stop being so dramatic. I stared at her, waiting, begging, for her to show an ounce of guilt, regret, something. But there was nothing. And that was the moment I realized my sister didn't just screw up. She never cared in the first place. At first, I tried to convince myself there had to be a mistake. Maybe someone else had access to her account. Maybe she was the victim here too. I didn't want to believe that my own sister had done this to me. But the more I thought about it, the less sense that made. Megan had always been irresponsible with money. She had maxed out credit cards, borrowed from family, and even had a history of forgetting to pay people back. But stealing my identity? That was another level entirely. I called her immediately. No answer. I texted. Nothing. The silence made my blood boil. The next morning, I showed up at her apartment. I knocked. No answer. I knocked harder. Finally, she opened the door, looking annoyed, like I was the one inconveniencing her. What's up? I held up my phone, the email pulled up. You want to explain this? Her expression barely changed. She glanced at the screen and shrugged. Oh, that. As if it was some casual mistake. As if she had borrowed a sweater without asking. Megan, you took out a loan in my name. Are you insane? She had the audacity to roll her eyes. Relax, I was gonna pay it back. I just needed some help, and you're always bragging about your good credit. It's not like you even use it. My vision blurred with rage. That's not how this works. Do you even understand what you've done? This is fraud. You could ruin my credit, my future. Hell, I could go to jail for this. She scoffed. No one's going to jail. You can just say you didn't know, file some report, and it'll go away. Seriously, stop being so dramatic. I stared at her, waiting for any sign of guilt, of remorse, anything that might make this easier to swallow. But there was nothing. Just entitlement. I spent the next few days in a haze of disbelief, flipping between anger and heartbreak. My sister, my own blood, had done this to me. Every time I tried to process it, my mind looped back to one question. How long had she been planning this? It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment mistake. A loan that big didn't just happen overnight. She had gone out of her way to steal from me, to forge my name, and to gamble with my future like it meant nothing. I wanted to believe that there was a misunderstanding. Maybe she got in over her head. Maybe she had a reason I hadn't thought of yet. But deep down, I knew better. When I finally checked my emails again, the reality hit even harder. Late payment notices. An official warning from the lender. A reminder that I still had time to fix my delinquent account before legal action was taken. Legal action. The words sent a chill down my spine. If I didn't act fast, this wouldn't just be a financial burden. It would ruin my credit, my reputation, and maybe even my ability to get a loan for anything real in the future. I had to make a decision. That night, I called my parents and asked them to meet me at their house. I didn't tell them why. If I gave them any warning, they'd probably try to smooth things over before I even had the chance to speak. And I wasn't going to let that happen. When I walked through the door, my sister was already there, sitting at the kitchen table, pretending like she had nothing to hide. My mom was stirring a pot of something on the stove, and my dad was reading a newspaper like it was just another quiet evening. I closed the door behind me and took a deep breath. "So, when were you going to tell me?" I asked, my voice even, but sharp enough to make my sister flinch. She blinked at me. "Tell you what?" I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the email from the lender, and slammed it down on the table in front of her. "This. You took out a loan in my name, and now I'm the one getting calls about it." My mom's stirring stopped. My dad slowly lowered his newspaper. My sister, for the first time in her life, looked genuinely speechless. But only for a second. Then she scoffed. "God, you're so dramatic." My vision blurred with rage. Dramatic. That was her response. Not an apology. Not an explanation. "Are you serious?" I snapped. "You stole from me, and you think I'm being dramatic?" She rolled her eyes like I was making a scene over nothing. "It's not like I took anything. I just needed a little help. I was going to pay it back." "With what money?" I shot back. "You don't even have a job." My parents finally spoke up, trying to calm the situation down. My mom, ever the peacemaker, placed a hand on my sister's shoulder. "Honey, I'm sure she didn't mean any harm." "Are you kidding me?" I cut her off. "She committed fraud. She forged my name. Do you have any idea how serious this is?" My dad sighed, rubbing his temples like he was exhausted by the whole conversation. "Look, we'll figure something out. Let's not make this a big deal." That was it. That was my breaking point. "Not a big deal," I repeated, my voice shaking. "You always do this. You always cover for her. If I did something like this, you'd disown me, but because it's her, you just want to figure something out." My sister crossed her arms and leaned back in her chair. "Wow. Way to be selfish. I'm your sister. I needed help, and this is how you treat me." Something inside me snapped. "You're not my sister anymore." The room went silent. She scoffed again, but I could see the flicker of panic in her eyes. "I'm going to the police," I said. "I'm pressing charges. If you don't fix this, I'll make sure you regret it." Her face drained of color. "Wait, you're not actually serious. Watch me." I grabbed my phone and walked out. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the sister who forgave. I wasn't the sister who let things slide. I was the sister who had finally had enough.